All right, everyone. Hey, how are you? Hiram here. So happy to be here tonight. That was a great meeting with Dr. A just a few minutes ago with Jan Paxson. I did a call with Jan Paxson last week on about nurses, and I love Jan. She is one of my favorite people in here. Jamil Frazier is a powerhouse. I love listening to him talk. He just is full of knowledge. And then Dr. A, he's always so inspiring. So everyone, make sure that if you're coming on this call, that you get onto that call first. I won't say one's more important than the other, but I would say that Dr. A's, those messages that you get on those are going to be from the leaders of the company that know exactly what they're talking about. That's why they're on that call. I feel like us here, this is the next smallest. It's like going to a congregation for church, and then all of a sudden you got to go to Sunday school. You're going to get a little smaller congregation. So we're going to be able to work on the things that our group wants to see happen. And this is going to be an exciting day. First, we're going to have a few people on here that are going to speak, but we are splitting our jeans. We're getting too big again. So this is super exciting that Margie and Alan their group is going to start their own, I believe, probably Monday night meetings also. And we are super, super excited about that, because that just means that the next person is ready to fill their role. Margie and Alan are there, have been there for a long time. And we came together on this one for the Monday night call. And now it's just ready to go to the next one. So we are super excited. Alan, you want to come off real quick and just kind of give the what your plans are for that, for your people that are on?
Yeah, sure. And we're super excited about it. I mean, I think it's time, and because both of our businesses are just getting bigger and bigger, and what a good problem to have. Because, by breaking into separate groups again, we did it with Charlene already, and it's a good thing. It signals growth, and it gives so many people a chance to be highlighted, more so than there is now. So many people now are not being recognized the way they should, because there just time doesn't allow for that. There's so many rank ups now. The company's growing so quickly. So many coaches are growing their businesses so quickly. And these are all great things, exciting things that are happening. And so, we want to, highlight people and give people a chance to speak, and give people a chance to train as well. So we're super excited about it, and can't wait to kick it off next Monday.
Awesome. So before they leave, we get to hear some tip-top takeaways. There we go. Some awesome takeaways from some of the people that are in their group, because one of the things that when we first split off from Charlene, we figured we were going to be pretty strong, because we were going to have two globals. Alan and Margie's going to have a global group, and then it was going to be Tiana and I. Well, since then, another global has come in. Heidi Weidman has come in, and Wendy Renfro has hit integrated national last month, and she is just inches away from global. So again, this is so fun to be able to see the growth happening, and so now for now, Heidi Weidman's team and us will stay together. Again, we still have two powerhouse leaders, at least one. Heidi's great. I'm just here. Anyways, but some good leaders that know what they're talking about, have been around, know what's happening, to be able to help out. So really, not to waste any more time, I'm going to turn it back over to Alan again to introduce Wendy, and we get to listen to her for her final time on the JOCS thing. But we still will be meeting with Charlene's group every month, which will be awesome. We still all get to come together, and there's going to be times that we probably merge again, and maybe we'll go merge with Alan and Tanya and Kevin's group, or Alan and Wendy's group. So that's kind of fun to be able to say Alan and Wendy's group. But there's going to be a whole bunch. So anyways, all right, Alan, go ahead and take it over.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And I love what you said about, staying together and, joining each other's groups, because I think there's so much value in that. as well. And I love that Charlene is still doing hers once a month, and that we all get to come together for that. It's just good to see, we still need to be a part of the whole, but also break off and allow for growth as well. So it is absolutely my pleasure to introduce Wendy. I love this part. There's so much to brag about with Wendy. She's awesome to have around. We've become such good friends. The cool thing about this is what I love about coaching too, is I didn't even know Wendy before joining this program. And it was only because my brother-in-law came on program. He knew Wendy, and Wendy became a client through my brother-in-law. But through that, we are great friends now. And that's the integration that we love about this. So Wendy, I know you've got some great tips for us. So go ahead and come off mute and take it away.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for that awesome introduction. I have so much love for you and Margie, and I'm so blessed that Ryan introduced us, because, wow. I mean, I really literally was in like a pit, is what I refer to, before I met you guys and this program. So just so much has changed in such a short amount of time, and it's such a blessing. Okay, so speaking of things changing, I'm going to do this segment about life happens, because it just does, and it always will happen. And I don't know if all of you know. I'm sure probably most of you have, if you keep up with anything on my Facebook, because I just kind of put it all out there for everybody to see. I had a lot of life happen to me over the past several months, and I lost a family member, my brother, who I was very close with, in a very tragic way. It's hard to talk about, but here's the thing. When life happens, we have a choice, and it really boils down to that. We can allow it to pull us back into our pit, and it really almost did me. And I had gained weight because I was emotionally eating, and as a coach, that's tough, because we do put our lives on blast for everybody to see. And how do we do that? How do we put our life on blast when we're gaining weight and we're not really leading with our health, and we're not really practicing what we preach? And it kind of, it stumped me, because it's hard. It's hard for me to feel like I'm lying, but I felt like I was. And I went to Alan about it at convention. Well, here's the thing. I didn't go to the FIBC trip because I was embarrassed to be seen by my coaching family. I didn't go to Go Global because I was embarrassed to be seen by and I was trying so hard to get my mindset right in between these events, just to try to get the weight off so I could show up. I was trying to be perfect. And the thing is we're not perfect. We are human beings. We're all here because, well, the majority, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of us have food issues. Emotional eating was my issue, and it's been a real struggle. I'm just putting it out there and telling you like it is. This is real. And I went to Alan at convention. Convention was a pivotal point for me, for my personal life and for my business. I went to Alan and I told him, listen, I'm struggling with my weight, and I'm allowing it to pull me back into this pit, and I don't want to go back there, and he said one thing that really stayed with me. And every time Alan tells me anything, my ears perk up, because everything I've followed that he's done has been a significant breakthrough for me, personally and in my business. So whenever Margie and Alan speak, I listen. And he said something, because Wendy, we don't care that you gained some weight. What we would care about is if you allowed it to stop you from being the leader that you are. And that was like a real big pop in the face. It really made me think, like, oh my gosh, you know, you're so right. I could allow this to destroy my life personally. I could allow it to destroy my business, or I can use this as fuel to propel me into my greatness, you know? So I guess my thing is like, how many people on this call, you know, go through hard things in life? I bet everybody can raise their hand, right? So when we do that, we really have to make the choice. We all have pain points, and I loved the Saturday Momentum series that we're doing. Charlene, you know, really nailed it this weekend when she talked about pain points. You know, at convention and the death of my brother, I wanted to just go into a corner, into the fetal position, and cry my sorrows. But instead, I use that as the fuel to propel me to that next step. Because again, at convention, the question that was always spoken was, what's next? What's next? And so I really had to do a lot of self-evaluating and ask myself, what's next? And so I made the choice to use it as a fuel to propel me into my greatness. And by doing that, I know I needed to step out of the shadows, and I needed to step into the light, and I needed to make myself pretty vulnerable in front of a pretty large online audience who didn't see the little nitty gritty and all the struggle and the weight gained. You know, they didn't see that. And I was scared. I was scared to death. I was thinking, gosh, if I do that, is this going to hurt my business? You know, is it going to hurt my reputation as a health coach? Because do people really look to us as being the perfect example of health? Once again, Alan came to the rescue. No, the answer is no. They don't look to us as being the perfect example of health. They just want real, you know, and that's what I needed to come to grips with. So I made myself really vulnerable and took some new before pictures of my, what I call my 2.0 journey. With my back fat roll showing. I didn't edit these pictures. I didn't try to make myself look perfect. I didn't have makeup on. I threw my hair in a really messy bun. And I got real with people. And here's the thing, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. People connect with real. And I'm finding that out now, you know, because I'm having real conversations. And I feel like since I broke through that barrier, they're really, you know, truly more authentic conversations that I'm having with people. Okay, so here's the homework and takeaway from this little life happens segment is I really want you guys to do some self-evaluating. You know, identify your pain points. What are you afraid of? And what is holding you back from your greatness? If you can identify, you know, those areas, whether it's personal or in your business, you have something to work with. And my challenge to you is to bring that to your mentors. Let them fill them in on what your pain points are, because if we don't know as your mentors, we can't help you have your breakthrough. And that's truly what we want for all of you. You know, we just want to help you with your breakthrough. And so it's time. It's time to step into your greatness. And that's all I have to say.
Wendy, that was powerful. My goodness. Phew, I don't even know how to properly respond to that. That was so good. So many good nuggets there. And, you know, I'm speechless. I really am. That blew me away right there. And I love that you said that, you know, because the one thing I got out of that, well, I mean, I got like 50 things out of that right there. But, you know, I was just reminded so much that God works in the light and Satan works in the dark. And, you know, when we're operating in the dark, things just aren't going right. And they never will. And it's hard to step out like that. But my goodness, it's profound when you do. Thank you. Thank you for that. My goodness. That was awesome.
Well, thank you.
So one of the things that I loved about that, I mean, I'm going to quote Wendy quoting Alan, but don't let your problems get in the way of being the leader that you could be. We've all battled it. And I love that we're all still here. And if you power through and you go to 2.0 and you figure out what 2.0 is going to be, 2.0 is going to be better version than 2.1 or 1.0, right? So that's what we're going for. We're never ever going to be perfect ever. But all we can do is always work on being better. And people love real. And you can see that Wendy when she decided to be real, she picked it up where she needed to be. Since convention, she has just boomed. Her business has boomed. She's being real, and she's going to where she wants to be. Alan is the same way. Since convention, man, Alan and Margie has stepped into where they want to be. And hence that's why they decided that it was time for them to be able to fill the role of the leadership that they want. So you can't let what you're doing stand in the way of the person that you could be. Face the fear. I was asking my kids just the other day, and maybe you guys have heard this, but the difference between a cow and a buffalo. A cow will turn their back to a storm and walk with the storm, so they stay in the storm. A buffalo will put their head into the storm, walk into the storm, so they get through the storm a lot faster. Which one are we going to be? Are we going to be that buffalo that just puts our head down and goes with it? Or are we going to be the cow that puts our head down and walks with the storm, so you stay in the storm a whole lot longer? We can decide, and we are the only ones that can decide. Wendy, thank you so much for your heart. We are going to miss you on here. We will see you again lots of times, though. But let's be strong. Thank you for your wisdom, Wendy.
Thank you, Hiram. Thank you for allowing me to share it.
Yes. So we actually planned this scenario. It wasn't supposed to be a goodbye party 3 weeks ago when we planned this. We had Wendy and Amber. Amber Smith will be coming on here just a second. We planned them a couple weeks ago because these guys are rocks in their business. Amber Smith was one of our very first coaches coming in, and she is one of the most solid people, just is always there, doing the business, doing the job, doing the work. And she's continuing to grow. And it's so awesome just to see her as a rock. So we get the privilege now of introducing, she is my cousin. She's Amber Johnson Smith. So our dads were brothers, but she was one of our very first clients. And she came up and she's like, Hiram, is this too good to be true? I said, I'm losing a lot of weight and I feel stinking good and I'm helping a lot of people. It's not too good to be true. So she's here with us. She's growing an amazing team. Heidi Weidman is actually part of Amber's team. So we get to hear the brilliance of Amber being able to grow another global team. So Amber, are you there?
I am. So
look at you, all bright-eyed.
I know.
You look beautiful.
It's funny. I had a different laptop and got a bunch of lights because it had no light, and then I finally got my good one fixed. And now I have too much light.
You look like you got diva lights all the way around you.
That's right. You guys have to
you look great.
I'm staring into your soul tonight.
You look great.
Thanks. So, I really wanted to talk tonight about just consistency and what I have been doing. And I also wanted to speak to your business is your business. You may not grow at the same rate as other people. I am not growing at the same rate as Heidi Weidman, but I adore Heidi Weidman and I learned from Heidi Weidman, and she's one of my coaches and she's one of my clients. And, but that's one of the biggest things I think we make the mistake of, and I am so guilty of it, that we want somebody else's journey to be our journey, but it's not, and it never will be. And so you have to go at your own pace, and you have to be grateful for what you have, grateful for what is happening in your own business. So Hiram and I were talking, and my business kind of exploded last month and the month before, which are actually typically kind of slow months for people. And I'm going to actually just skip through a couple of these, but I didn't do anything magic. I just continued with consistency, but I became more consistent because I was kind of struggling. And so this is actually from a presentation that Dan Valentine did a couple years ago. But he talks about that we're looking for people who are looking for a solution, and we have the solution. But that's really what our whole mindset is about, that we have the solution, and that's who we're looking for. So if you have 1,000 people say, oh, I'm not interested. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Oh, I don't want that. It doesn't matter. Those are not the people we were looking for. These are not the droids you're looking for. My husband would be proud. Addison, that's my son. He loves to perform, and he's Elvis Presley in the background right now. And a minute ago, he was some kind of animal. so bear with me. He may be back. So one of the things that is most important is the 3x3x3. And one of those things is starting 3 conversations. Guess what? My biggest weakness, starting 3 conversations a day. But I know that when I do it consistently, that my business grows. And 3 conversations does not look like, hey, I started this new thing. You should look into it. Hey, do you want to get into business with me? Hey, you look fat. Can I help you? Like, that's not what 3 conversations look like. The 3 conversations are, hey, I've been thinking about you. How's your family? Hey, I saw the post of your dog. He's so cute. I'm allergic. I could never have a dog, so I live vicariously through you. Posting, messaging people, texting your friends, emailing your friends, people you haven't talked to in a while, creating conversations, and doing that 3 times a day, posting 3 times a day. All of those things are what build your business. So I just wanted to share this specific slide, because on the next slide, what I always say, even in your health journey, what you do today does not affect your weight tomorrow as much as we think it does. What we do today actually affects our weight a week from today, a month from today, and a year from today, because we are growing habits. We're not just dieting to lose weight tomorrow. So you may lose weight tomorrow because you didn't have something today, but where are you going to be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? And it's the same thing with your business. If you are doing today the same thing that you did yesterday, and it's building conversations, building relationships, then your business will continue to grow today, tomorrow, next week, next year. And what I do today is exponentially going to affect what happens in August. And so this next slide really shows that. So what happens is you contact 4 of your friends. Well, one of them gets back to you in April, one of them in May, one in June, one in July, one in August. You do the same thing in April, and so on and so forth. But you can see that over time, what happens is all of those people from the previous month start to build up, because you start to have all 4 in each month, and you build and build and build and build and build until you see growth. So if you see growth, the biggest thing to not do is stop. Not be like, oh, I did it. I've arrived. I'm done now. You're not done, because there are so many people who need you, and you have to keep growing. So don't stop the action because your bucket's overflowing, because once your bucket's overflowing, you start filling other people's buckets. Your bucket's going to be empty if you don't keep filling it. So keep working on filling the bucket. Do those 3x3x3 every day. That is what it's all about. Dan Valentine, that's how he grew his business. He did 10x10x10, but that's how he grew his business. So however fast you want to go, however much time you can put in, that's what's going to make it happen. Consistency, reach out to people, build relationships. Amen, brother.
Amen. So that is so true. That is super, super true. That people want to see consistency. They want to see that you're going to be here today, tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. They want to make sure that that's what you're doing. They want to know that you're going to have their back in just a couple of weeks when they start the program. So they're watching you, and as soon as they see that you're not going away, that's when they're going to join. So thank you so much, Amber. You're amazing. You're a rock. The stability of your business is just growing.
I'm your favorite.
There you go. My favorite. You're my favorite cousin. So anyways, you got very cute dimples. All right. So anyways, let's go on. I have one more person before I'm going to just turn it back over to Alan and Margie to kind of give us a little kumbaya before they leave. But I wanted to bring one more person on. I wanted to bring Autumn Needs on with us because, as many of you guys have seen, I celebrated her on JOCS the other day, and I celebrated her on her own, or on our message. Autumn recently just went to convention with us, and before convention, she was working her business. She was consistently working, doing the things that she thought she needed to do. She came back from convention and just blew up. Not only just blew up in her business, but her health journey took off, and her business is blowing up. And so I just wanted to just bring her on and just we're going to just do a Q&A question. She doesn't even know the question she's getting yet. So we're gonna hammer it out. Are you there, Autumn?
I am.
All right, good deal. So Autumn, how long have you been on your health journey?
So I started the week before Halloween of last year.
And what program did you start with?
The Nursing Moms program.
So how long did you work on the Nursing Moms program?
For about 4 months, from October to January. And then I switched to the 5-in-1 because my little one was consuming enough solids that I wasn't his sole source of nutrients.
And so you did the majority of your weight loss in that time?
I had lost 28 pounds in 3 months. I can't remember exactly 4 months what that equaled, but in the end, I ended up losing over 60 pounds in 6 months.
Okay, so that was 1.0, right?
Yeah.
That was 1.0, and then 2.0 came, and then you just took off. And what happened in the 2.0?
I kicked
I love
fear
that,
in the
Wendy.
face. That was what I came away from convention with, was kick fear in the face. And I had so much fear going into this about what other people thought of me, about what I could do for myself. Being Amber, or Wendy spoke about it, being perfect. I thought I had to be perfect. And if I wasn't perfect, I couldn't be a good coach to other people. So I love that I walked away with all of those nuggets of truth, and it just propelled me forward.
So you hit your goal weight, which was, how much did you end up losing?
I lost 75 pounds. So I went from 210 to 135.
Awesome. And how do you feel?
Night and day difference. Night
So
and day.
if you guys have seen her pictures show it, and seeing her right now show it, because she's just glowing. She's smiling. She's happy. Not that she wasn't before, because I didn't know Autumn at all before. And as Wendy and Alan were saying, it's amazing who pretty much God puts in our pathway that we get to be part of their life now. And Autumn comes through another coach, Jessica, who's I believe on here also. She they just were friends from home in Washington, and Autumn just happened to see Jessica's post, and it went from there. So going on from here, though, this is what's so fun is what was the turning point at convention? You said kick fear in the face. What did you do after, though? I mean, so many people get fired up at convention, and then they come home and blah, the fire goes out.
So I had not been a huge person in the weekly meetings because, I have little ones and they have activities and other things. And walking away from convention, I realized I just needed to go back to the basics. I really needed, if I was going to preach to my clients that they needed to do things, I needed to do them too. So I started jumping on all of the weekly meetings, and I just started taking everyone's advice. Instead of doing what I thought was best for me, I started doing what everyone told me I should be doing and what helped them. So, yeah. It was just that. I mean, it was just putting it into action. That's really what it was. So
I love, go back to the basics. Don't overcomplicate it, right? How many times do our clients do it? Our clients will overcomplicate the program so much that they stress themselves out about it. It's easy. And Doug Wood, I believe, said it not too long ago, even about fueling hacks. We all love fueling hacks. We've been there, done that. We've been doing fueling hacks for a long time. but sometimes it's just muddying the water when we do that. So what I love what she said was, go back to the basics. There's no special sword that somebody did. Somebody just stayed more consistent than the next person, maybe. So go back to the basics. Make sure you're learning the basics. And the only way to learn those basics is by being at the meetings to be able to do that. Autumn's going. I mean, I'm not going to say she has the cruise made already, because there's still quite a few months left. But she is very, very close to already earning the cruise. This will be her first month at executive director. She'll have one more month to go, and then she has to hit the volumes. But she's already almost there. And that's what is so fun about seeing the fire in her. But not just that. She's brought on coaches now. She's hitting her volume now. And just being able to help so many other people. So, Autumn, thank you so much for just these few minutes. She's on fire, guys. Just follow. If you look at her Facebook page, she gives real life. How Jan Paxson was saying, you got to have that bank account. You got to give people some so that they can that you can take some sometimes. And she's giving it. She's putting herself out there, showing what she's doing. She's living it. She's doing it. She's loving it. All right, everyone. One last thank you, Autumn. One last speaker. We got just a few minutes left. Alan and Margie, please give us your amazing tips and kind of your change in heart. I love the focus of this meeting has been really the change that we decide. Once we decide we want it, that's when we decide to change. So Alan and Margie, love for you to talk about that in the last few minutes.
Yeah. So, you know, Wendy kind of set the stage up so perfectly for this, because stepping into a role, you know, and kind of breaking off and leaving the nest, if you will, with you, it's something that I've just struggled with for at least a year. And I've just haven't wanted to do it. I've been afraid, mainly, more than anything, afraid that maybe I can't do it, maybe I can't pull it off. And I've just been struggling with this. Watching Wendy tonight and seeing Wendy in the last couple of months. I mean, Wendy's had not only, you know, a physical transformation, but an amazing mental transformation as well, growing into a leader. And seeing that gives me the confidence that this is the right call. It's the right time. And I'm excited for other team members that I know are just right there. They're ready to step into those roles as well. I'm ready for that to happen in a big way.
I think that's the thing is we've known for a long time that we've needed to, and we haven't wanted to, because the Johnsons are amazing, and you know they're always there. We don't want to ever go away from them, but we know we need to, so we put it off. But as we decided, you know what, we just need to be the leaders, and we're watching all the leaders in our team. We have so many, and they're all doing it or capable of doing it for sure, and it's been so fun watching them do it. And we're like, oh yeah, like it's not even about us at this point. Like we just want to watch them do it now, but we can't really do that until we give them the space. And you got so many leaders that are not on our team here too. And like Autumn and Amber, I can't wait to hear, you know, more from them. And so we have to kind of get out of the way as leaders so that they can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. So that's our, I don't know if that's a tip per se, but that's our 2 cents worth. I'm excited to see a whole bunch of new names start rising to the top and shining like they need to be shining. So exciting stuff.
So what I love is Alan and we have a lot of fun together. The Lundys and Tiana and I, we have a lot of fun together. We love to be able to stay by each other a lot because we bounce ideas off each other. But this last time we were there, Alan says, I'm ready to be a leader. He physically actually said exactly that. I am ready to step into where I need to be. I just don't know what to do. And one of the things that I found out about leaders is leaders aren't there to tell people what to do. They're there to help the other leaders realize that they can be leaders. Just like they did with Wendy. They helped Wendy realize she is a leader. And that is what we're here to do. All of the people on here, if you want to be a leader, help other people be leaders, and you're going to be there. So though I'm going to miss their face on here on Mondays, you know what? We'll get to see them. We'll go and play. We didn't even get to see them at convention. We got to see them for a few days before convention, and then we didn't even get to see them at convention anymore because they're leading an amazing team. And that's my goal for everybody on this call. Everybody on this call. I love you to pieces, but I want to see you fly. I don't want to see you on here forever. I want to see you fly. So everyone, love you guys so much. We're going to miss the Lundy group, but we're not, it's not going to be forever. And fly away and have a blast, and we'll see you guys again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.